Boy, this game is a source of conflict for Donkey Kong's admonition for Mario and his girlfriend who keeps shouting help from the upper ledges. Disturbances make our case understood against progress, even if obstacles in the video game leave more exclusions than singularity in the drama, initiatives, and forced feedback of DK's reign over the fireballs and moving cereals. Variances in the difficulty aren't extinguished by Mario to the point of vague missions, but rather until points are covering the slopes near the top of the TV screen. Particulars include the overall best high score ever and the current tallies for his objectives. My instruction manual reads like a restaurant menu and undergoes eyesight due to this analysis, given on comfort if not just dismissal. For that matter, I'm pretty sure there's barrels upon those ledges into which DK may fail to halt the carpenter's discrimination between enemies and obstacles, thus rendering courses as appeal to the conflict for which a princess can get envy from undeniable wealth. Options go along the lines of promotion. We're entering an open field of constructions that a gorilla like DK can repel Mario's carpenter job in through honest mistakes about the onslaught of 8-bit information. Atari 7800 joysticks work better than Atari 2600 joysticks in this Donkey Kong program because they're designed as something for professionals who enter two choices of immediate action and reliable digital interface, a good amount of dignity and wild courage. That's nerdlingo for the joysticks move farther. Maybe I'm being given credit while my nerdery indicates the functions along Atari 7800 ergonomics, since it's obvious the Atari 2600 joystick has more of a rough turn. In fact, those small little orange or black dots which surround the 2600 joystick at its base are quick indicators of direction. That's because the actual joystick goes in less directions than the orange-black markers indicated. Controls are great with the 7800 or the 2600 joysticks at least. I guess I determine greatness to control throughout a game as long as I get a high enough score of points for the different objects, such as a barrel whacked by a carpenter mallet for 300 big ones of points. Dude, a pause is made with a space bar on Donkey Kong as well as asteroids for the said 400, 800 computer circuits. From privilege of the undertaking, Atari made more than many computers for their general circuit of programming in coexistence with Atari 2600, Atari 5200, and Atari 7800, while they were around in price tags and Atari's minimal professional thrift closing in on presentations across US of A. DK himself uses grunts that ought to be mistaken as the computers. Intense activities is commonplace for Donkey Kong, as my 65XC propels within its 8-bit borders through Atari's personal unique craft of programming on its hairs. Sharp attention helps unless you're unwilling to rethink with this version of the arcade classic where a carpenter, Mario, changes into a buggy item after collapsing from mistakes or excessive leaps. Everything in this game is remarkable. The visuals, the colors, the errors fixed on my TV into positive characteristics in terms of shoe-stomping, wildly inaccurate behavior that adds unreality to the picture of imaginary bounds. Yet I'm very proud and accept obstacles as a gamer with a leap of faith, a kind that demurs wishes against anticipation of the possibilities throughout 8-bit glory. Graphics here are tailored to Atari's pursuits so as to make the arcade look more domineering and impersonally ridiculous. I'm not saying something bad yet. Here I'm just merely enunciating the greatness, the taste of comedy, and King Kong, so as to portray its likeness to my intellectual fascination until the points are cornered into polite submission of the quality as enthused by something other than bald words typically used for reviewers. Look, do you want to know what's going on in Donkey Kong, or are you adamant towards new secrets, pals? Visually speaking, there's enough of a bark to chew on for DK's style of villainy, in which barrels zigzag or push their own panels at Mario as he finds mallets, has a change of heart. The pink muscle is torn asunder from DK's cracks, roars in whimsical moves in proportion to a gamer's dispute before finding Pauline later on in peaceful and digressing opposition of his wit, charm, and plumbership. And that is the end of my review for Donkey Kong for the Atari home computer. And take care and God bless. Happy holidays.